Nestled among the natural and historic beauty of South Carolina's low country lies the story of an unlikely hero.
We're going to lay down our life for the Lord.
Robert Smalls was born a slave in Beaufort in 1839.
For the Lord.
His mother, Lydia, was a household servant and a privileged servant.
His mother was a woman of deep faith, and she raised him until he turned 12. All that time she was teaching him, but she also took him with her to church.
Lydia taught her son about Jesus, that God created men to be equal, and slaves were supposed to be free. He learned the harsh realities of slavery firsthand when his mother arranged for him to go to the fields.
She took him to see the disciplining of slaves, which was about 2 blocks from where we're standing at the arsenal.
One time she took him to see a young woman being whipped. He could see her face of this young lady, and he saw that this was a young woman that he knew. And his mother said he cried all the way home.
At the age of 12, Smalls was leased out by his master to work as a lamplighter and waiter in Charleston. His owner only let him keep one of the $15 he earned each month. Smalls eventually married Hannah Jones, who was 14 years his senior.
And he saved money not to buy his own freedom, but to buy his wife's freedom. There's the love story for you.
He also pursued his faith in Charleston.
He went to different churches. He went to white churches with his girlfriend, Hannah, and they sat in the gallery, and he went to black churches.
Charleston is also where he began working on the Confederate steamship, the Planter.
He understood the waterways, he knew the passages, he could read charts, and through his experience as a pilot, he comes to be very, very astute about the waters and how to operate small vessels.
The white officers of the ship did not spend the night aboard their vessel. Smalls used that opportunity to plan an escape with his family and other slaves aboard the ship. Before dawn on May 13, 1862, Smalls and the other 12 slaves began their mission. A mission Smalls began with a quick but fervent prayer.
Oh Lord, be with us on this fateful journey.
Smalls is dressed in the captain's coat, wearing the captain's straw hat. He knows all the proper signals. He gives the signals as they go past the various fortifications.
Smalls made it safely to the mouth of the Charleston harbor. Fearing a Confederate soldier would challenge him at Fort Sumter, he prayed again.
Oh Lord, we entrust ourselves into thy hands. Like thou didst for the Israelites in Egypt, please stand over us and guide us to our promised land of freedom.
God answered his prayer, and Smalls steered his ship out to sea. There he approached the Union ship, the Onward, and raised a white flag, just as Union soldiers were about to fire on him. After the daring escape, the Union press hailed him a hero. By capturing a Confederate ship, Smalls and his crew won a large sum of money. He was also honored by President Abraham Lincoln, and later became the first African-American captain in the Navy. Smalls' story doesn't end here. He had a long career in politics, education, and business. He was elected to the South Carolina House of Representatives and Senate, and later served 12 years in the U.S. Congress. Driven by his faith to invest in the lives of others, Smalls also became a champion of public education and giving black men the right to vote. As a businessman, he purchased several buildings in Beaufort, one with a story which clearly showed his Christ-like attitude.
He bought the house of his former owner where he was raised and lived in it for the rest of his life. One of the most interesting episodes in that house was when Mrs. McKee, who was the former owner of the house, was elderly, somewhat impoverished, and apparently a little addled in the head, returned to her home to stay. And Robert Smalls owned the house and his family was living there. And rather than turn her away, Robert Smalls brought her into the house, put her up in the bedroom that had been her bedroom before the Civil War, and served her.
Smalls died in 1915 at the age of 76.
Religion was a part of his life. It wasn't that he spoke about it all the time, but the way he acted and the things he did was reflective of that.
Charlene Israel, CBN News.